Okay, so I'm going to be explaining to you the Madx Throne Room stuff. I have my username hidden so they can't get me for the TOS terms of agreement, which you break by using um, these things, bots and such. Um, that's why I'm hiding username with my bot window. Kind of ironic. Anyway, explain basic thing here. Inventory is obviously inventory. Now your presets here are, I'm currently on preset 2, which is the buttons pressed down. Now I switched to 1 by just clicking on the 1, and as you can tell, the items here have switched out with different items, so that I now have a Britain bonus. Anyway, so yeah. Now, I'm just going to be going to this text pad here and explaining all this stuff here. So, most players have a minimum of 3 battle presets and 1 for peacetime. The most common presets are training buffs with crafting buffs. Usually not building or research buffs, because most people have finished building stuff and finished researching stuff. It's handy when you're starting out to have an advisor with 2 construction buffs and an advisor with 2 research buffs. But you won't need them for long. So anyway, then there's the defense buff and attack buff debuff, and the attack buff and the defense debuff, and the range buff and the range debuff presets. And I'm gonna be naming the guidelines for them down lower. But they work like rock, paper, scissors. Defense is rock, and it's good against scissors range. Scissors range is good against attack, which is paper, and attack or paper is good against rock. That's basically how it works, and it's pretty much works like rock, paper, scissors when it comes to battling, because you don't really know exactly what preset your opponent will be using. You can guess based on the troops. If they're sending heavy cavalry, it's probably going to be a defense buff. If they're sending siege walls, it's going to be a defense buff. If they're sending archers or catapults or ballistia, it's going to be hard to tell whether it's going to be an attack buff or a range buff. But using a range buff to defend is going to pretty much defend against it, because if they choose attack, then it's going to fail. If they choose range, it's going to be kind of equal in terms. So since you're a defender, you're going to have more than they are. So it's probably you who's going to win in then. So anyway, the guidelines for each preset. For the training and crafting preset, you want a throne with troop training speed in lines 4 and 5. The lines 4 and 5, if you I'll show you here when it comes to the lines. So here's a card. It shows you this. So lines 1 would be the -5 defense debuff. Line 2 would be the -5 attack debuff on the white one. Line 3 would be the -40% defense debuff. Lines 4 and 5 would be both the defense buffs. So that's how the line things work. Now, so lines 4 and 5 on a throne, you will want a training speed there. More lines if possible, because troop training maxes at about 4,000% speed up, which is quite a bit. So you'll want as many troop trainings as you can get. For the table, you want crafting speed in lines 4 and 5. You could obviously go for something else if you don't really feel like crafting stuff, but crafting is quite useful because you can craft a trumpet thingy that halves your food intake, or the amount of food your troops need to function, to not desert. So yeah, if you keep that going, you'll never need to feed your troops more than half of what they would usually eat, which means you can keep 2 times the army you would have had before. For the window, you want ore production on 3 or 4 lines. You could obviously use another resource, but ore is the most common one used. For the trophy, you want 2 lines of training speed, obviously, because training speed is very important. Banner, bonus for Dark Forests on the bottom 2 lines, or lines 4 and 5. That's because for banners, there's not much else that you can use in a peacetime. So the bonus for a Dark Forest increases your attack and defense against the minions of the Dark Forest, which basically means you can take down a Dark Forest easier. You're not going to lose as many troops and such like that. For the candle, you want troop training speed on 2 lines minimum. That's basically it, and that's the minimums. You can always get better stuff than this. For the defense and attack debuff preset, you want defense on 4 lines minimum of the throne. In fact, I've found a 5-line defense throne on 2 domains, so it's actually relatively common. Relatively, if you knew how to do stuff. I'll show you how you can easily get a bunch of throne room items without having to be there if you use a bot, of course. You have to use a bot to do all this. At least do it efficiently, or in a manner that doesn't take years to accomplish. Anyway, for the table, you want defense on lines 4 and 5 minimum. Actually, you can probably just read the rest of it. I don't really need to say it, do I? But yeah. And you can always pause the video whenever you want. Just have a look at these, copy them down, whatever. Almost forgot to say it. For the defense one, it's usually used with heavy cavalry, siege walls, cavalry, and battering rams, because all these have a high amount of defense and high amount of life. So this boosts them quite a bit. And for the attack or defense debuff, is usually used for things that have a high attack value, such as siege, catapults, ballista, archers. There's probably some infantry units that I don't know of that have it. That'd be good with. Pikemen, maybe. I don't know. And range is basically anything that uses a projectile or has a high amount of base range, such as catapults, ballistae, archers. Archers are the most common just because they're cheaply made and made quite quickly. But they aren't really... they're only... they can only go so far when it comes to attacking, because you can only have so many of them in one wave. But if you send wave after wave after wave, you might be successful. This is basically just a guide for attacking players when it comes to the throne room. How you can trick them by not using the actual throne preset that you're planning on using. It's harder to do on with the defense one, because it's only used on certain ones. If you were to like mix, I don't know, 100,000 heavy cavalry with 200,000 archers, you might be able to trick them with a range or an attack. But yeah, that's basically it. Now, for this, I'm going to show you the attack thing. It's already on it. Just click this tab right here. You can click Show Targets. It shows all the attacks you've added. Here, you choose which city you want to send the attacks from, the chords you're sending the attack to, whether it's a wild or not, Wave 1, which will be sent every now and then, and Wave 2, which is sent whenever it can. Here you can set the attack interval for the recurring wave. Here's where you can set the amount of slots you want to keep for your rally. Usually you'd use this on a wild, and I would say not to use it on a player just because that's just mean. Of course, if the player is your alt, you can attack just one troop and get a bunch of TR items that way. But yeah, that's basically how you use that. Let's see. I need to go to the throne room button here. Basically, I'm going to explain the options you have here. You want the So basically, when your primary city is full, you want to put your Aether Stones in any city. It's this option here, and you want the maximum number of Aether Stones to be very close to 2 million, but not quite 2 million, so you don't go over and lose Aether Stone, because you will. I have my overflow method on the lowest city, but you can have it in city order, so it'll just go 1, 2, 3. But I think I actually will put it on city order. Okay, upgrades, you want to upgrade the items to +1 before deleting, for both manual and the auto, for up to maximum quality of rare. This basically means that you'll get more Aetherstone from deleting it than what you spend on upgrading it to +1. Since +1 is it's like 99.99% chance of being upgraded successfully. So you'll almost always get the +1 and then delete it, and you'll get 1,000 or 1,500 Aetherstone profit from it. Basically, you set the minimum number of Aetherstones you can use. You whisper yourself on successful upgrades, which is what I do. You can disable manual upgrades if you live less than a certain number of Aetherstone. A bunch of stuff. There's also presets in here that I'm not exactly sure to use. It could you could use it like regular ones, the ones that are in the throne room, but I'm not quite sure how to use them, so I haven't used them yet. Upgrade, basically simple. Choose the item here, upgrade to plus whatever, enhance to whatever. Also, you can do this, which auto upgrade and auto enhance, which sets auto enhance automatically puts it at wondrous it wants to be at, and auto upgrade automatically puts it at +12. But you can change it through the scrolly bar here. I have it at wondrous and +5, because it's relatively simple to get to wondrous. Well, if you get lucky, it's relatively simple. If you get unlucky, you do like 100 tries and you still don't get it. But anyway, it's set to +5 because that's relatively simple to do. It takes about 2-3 days to get something to wondrous and +5. That's if you're unlucky. If you're lucky, sometimes it does it in, I don't know, a day, half a day. Half a day at the least, usually. You can get lucky, maybe do it in 3 hours if you hit it like 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 kind of thing. If you're very, very, very extremely lucky, as in 1 in 2 billion, you could get it in like immediately, as you basically enhance it and you never fail, basically. If you never fail, then you can do it in almost immediately. Anyway, you choose to use Aether Stones from whatever city you want to. You want to only upgrade one at a time, because otherwise your repairing stuff gets very, very complicated. So only upgrade it one at a time and repair all TR items in case your salvager breaks something when it upgrades to +1. The salvager itself, salvager on/off button, keep all whatever you want to keep. Keep the first whatever items. So 24 items the first 24 items will never be deleted no matter what. Here you choose the faction you want the card to belong to. Here you choose what type of card you want it to be. Here the buff, how many, and whether it's a buff or debuff. Which slots it's in, just check or uncheck. Uncheck means it doesn't want it there. Well, it could be there, it just wouldn't matter. You just want it to have one attack in 2, 3, 4, or 5. And that'd be it. You can add a row, so you can have multiple. So if you want to find one specific card, so you want to have an attack, a defense, a life, a range, and let's say an accuracy. You can find cards exactly like that. You just say you want to be a buff, and let's say you want it to be the range to be on. So you want the range on 4, the accuracy on 3, the attack on 5, the life on 2, the defense on 1. And now you'll find a card. Well, you might not find it, but there's the possibility that, or if you have this the only thing in there, it means it'll only keep cards that have an attack in 5, a range in 4, a life in 2, a defense in 1, and an accuracy in 3. Now I'm not going to create that rule just because that would make things almost impossible to find. Now it'll keep anything that matches any of your rules, any of them. So only one needs to work, and it will keep that item. So you want them to be relatively specific. You don't want to make too many rules that go against each other or are contradictory, just because that means that it'll just be keeping more than you need to, and then there's more that you need to go through yourself. But yeah, anyway, that's how it works. Now let's hope I can actually